Okay, yeah. Welcome, 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 welcome. Let's just get comfortable. In a moment, I'm going to tell more about why I'm here and what I'm here to share with you today. But let's just take a moment to drop in. It's always good to give people time to arrive. It doesn't really matter whether you watch this live or whether you watch it in replay, but of course, if you come and you're here during this moment of broadcast, then I'm here for you. I'm here to answer your questions. And otherwise, if you watch this in replay, since that'll be possible, and you do enter any questions into the comments field, I'll see them and I will also respond to your questions. So I am totally here for you. Just take a moment to drop in. Just want to prepare physically and mentally to receive, since I'm here to share with you inspirations, my thoughts, my ideas concerning the practice, concerning the path, and this specific time of year, which is the beginning of summer, and how that affects us, and what I'm offering at this time of year to inspire you. So just taking a moment to connect to your body, drop in, land, check in. Is there any tension? Is there any obstruction? Is there any resistance? Are we feeling focused? Are we feeling distracted? Are we able to receive? Are we open to receive? Smile into this moment. Smile into yourself. Honor this moment in your life journey. Accept yourself totally as you are. And let anything that distracts you slide away, if possible. We're always being pulled at. Our bodies, our minds are pulling at us, trying to distract us. We're living a life of multitasking, but it's not always conducive to practice, to going deeper. We just need to slow down. Let's just ground it down. Take a moment, drop in. Let's breathe together. I invite you to join me just for a few breaths, and then we're going to dive in. So whether you do this with eyes open or closed, that's fine. Eyes slightly open is a really nice option. So they're kind of like almost closed, just but a little bit of light coming in through the opening, just to keep you here, centered, present. And empty the lungs and join me. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. 2 more. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Last time. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. I bring my hands to my heart. I invite you to join if you'd like to. And I would like to offer you the classic Namaste from my heart. I'm bowing to you. I'm bowing to the light that is you. That is what this is all about when we say to each other Namaste. So, Namaste. And that in itself is a very beautiful opening, because it addresses what is the focus of this broadcast. So welcome to this broadcast. This is the early summer broadcast, and for those of you who don't know, this is connected to the Revolve project, which is a 1-year journey. Not everyone is doing the whole year, and I leave that open. Some people do one season, or they just do 1 month. But what I offer is one masterclass uploaded each month. So as we have arrived to the early summer edition of the Revolve cycle, I have already uploaded the early summer online masterclass. It is available. People watching this may already have done the early summer masterclass, and otherwise it is available if you haven't. So as far as the broadcast goes, I'm here to share with you thoughts and inspirations to inspire you to connect to this work and to connect to the practice and to dive deeper into the practice, to open yourself, to explore and to enjoy the adventure that is practice, and to go beyond the robotic repetition of the same way of practicing every time, since that's absolutely what the whole Revolve project is all about, is to share with you what is, for me, absolutely the adventure of yoga. And I know that that's a choice, or let's just say that option is perhaps not available to everybody, because it depends on what you've explored, what you've studied, what tools you have in your toolkit. Some people do yoga and they only know one series, or they go to Bikram yoga and they do the same series every time because that's what's being offered. So that is just one approach to yoga. That is not this approach. I am sharing with you, as I call it, the grand buffet, and that is to invite you into the expanded repertoire so that you can explore in a way that is relevant to your needs at any specific moment. So as we journey through the Revolve cycle of 12 online masterclasses, we're journeying for 1 year, and here we are, early summer. Of course, I'm sharing the practice that is for me appropriate to early summer. It has nothing, it looks nothing like the practice we were doing in early winter, because we feel different. We need something different. So this way of practicing is inspired by the classical Krishnamacharya Vinyasa teachings, and my interest is really to share and to inspire you to dive deeper into this approach to yoga, and to discover how much this way of practicing has to offer. It's very, very rich. It's very, very beautiful. And this is a way of exploring yoga and discovering how yoga can serve you. Do you sometimes feel like you're working for the yoga? Or do you want the yoga to work for you, right? What does it feel like to work for the yoga? You know, you go to some class and you're forced to do some sequence and it doesn't connect. It doesn't feel like it's what you need, but you push yourself through it. And this can also happen in your own self-practice. In your own self-practice, you could have an idea that you want to kind of push yourself to go through a certain sequence and do certain poses. But if it doesn't feel like it's working, or it doesn't feel like what you need on that day, then you want to have tools whereby you're able to modify your practice so that it is appropriate to your needs. Our needs change each day, each week, each month, and most certainly each season. So as I'm sharing through the Revolve project, certainly in a way that is aligned to seasonal energy, and therefore this masterclass and this time is the early summer masterclass, the early summer time. So let me tell you a little bit about how I'm approaching the practice at this time of the year. But first, my needs have to be served. So Prost, as I have a sip of, well, I'll be honest with you, it's not actually tea, it's hot water and honey. But the honey is so amazing. I just discovered while I was away this last weekend in a little biological shop this incredible honey, and it was quite expensive, I'll be honest with you, but I've discovered there's honey and there's honey. A bit like yoga, basically. There's yoga and there's yoga. Very important. Very important. It's not all one thing. It's all one thing, but the different yoga traditions are focusing on different aspects of the practice. So you want to hunt, you want to search, yeah, and discover those teachings that align with you, those teachings that speak to you, that inspire you. Not every teacher is going to be able to offer you those teachings. Different teachers are focusing on different aspects. The different lineages of yoga focus on different aspects of the practice. Do you feel inspired by very centered, very focused, very still, long time in the poses, alignment? Go, enjoy Iyengar yoga. Or you feel inspired by that pitta energy of, working through that challenging sequence, and you like the repetition, go, enjoy Ashtanga yoga. My practice is essentially energetic vinyasa. It is the focus on that moving from breath energy, awakening the flow of the life energy, the life force, prana, and as much as possible, synchronizing the practice to the energy of the moment. So really connecting to what feels real, what feels true, and what my body, what my nervous system, what my mind, what I'm needing at this moment. So therefore, actually, the practice that I enjoy and that I'm sharing is a practice that has a yin and a yang quality, or let's say a lunar and a solar quality, because at different times you're exploring different qualities. So where are we? Hey, it's summer. Life basically doesn't get better than this. And at this time, the time that I've filmed and shared the early summer masterclass, I've basically filmed this very close to what is the summer solstice, which is that time of the year when the days are the longest and when we are receiving the most sunlight. So by virtue of, the yoga teachings being that sunlight is a major way of receiving energy, prana, we should be feeling pretty energized. Particularly the beginning of summer, very nice time. You can, in the middle of summer, be receiving so much sunlight that you're knocked out. We'll talk about that later, but one thing at a time. Firstly, let's just acknowledge, particularly if you're living in the north of the planet, like I am, living here in the Netherlands, then wow, what an amazing difference. What an amazing difference it is. The difference between winter and summer is just like, chalk and cheese up here in the north. And the way it makes us feel. It's easy for us to forget how we have been feeling, back in winter. But if we're able to stay connected and tune into the shifts that take place inside of us, the way we feel at different times of the year, really connect to that, align to that, acknowledge, notice, and synchronize your lifestyle and your practice to the energy of the moment. So we are being called upon, we are being invited by summer and summer's light and summer's energy. We are being invited to join the party. That's it. Let's face it. The birds may have left, they may have migrated, when it was colder. They're back. They're partying, they're mating, they're giving birth, whatever. The frogs, go out there into the nature and listen to the frogs at night. It's a party. Life is just abundant, and it's all about flowering and, fruit forming, and it's all happening. Berries, at least, lots of berries. So, Well, are you up for it? Are you up for your own blossoming, for your own expansion? So, to harness all of this energy, the yoga offers us, techniques to actually harness and access this energy. And this is an invitation, as I say, to turn up your volume. Turn up your volume, right? Show us what you got. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to address that firstly. I think it's very important. I'll tell you why. Because in the yoga community, sometimes there is a shyness and a quietness, and that shyness, humility, quietness, has been labeled as spiritual and is considered, in fact, to be the definition of spiritual. Not by everyone, maybe by you, maybe not. But what I'm talking about here is an invitation to shine. Show us what you got, right? So the first thing is to make peace with that. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Is that spiritual or is that not spiritual? Does that fit with your idea of yoga? Yeah. Are you going to allow yourself to come out with your bright feathers and show us what you got? So that's where we get into ideology, philosophy, and that's where you've got to examine for yourself what your philosophy is, what your ideology is. Do you notice that there is a tendency to make oneself smaller than one is? Yeah. Do you consider yourself to be spiritual, or does it align to your dharma to allow yourself to manifest yourself fully, right? This is the Prana mudra. Actually, let's do it. Let's do the Prana mudra. Come on. It's beautiful. It kind of expresses the whole thing. My hands are open, my fingers are spread. Right? It's like grabbing, like holding. And my hands are at the height, like in line with my ears. My shoulders are back, and what am I holding here? Join me. Join me. Feel it. Let me guide you into this. I'm inviting you to feel your fullness. The fullness of your life experience, of your being, of your personality, of your emotions, of your interactions with other living beings, of the story of your life, everything you've ever felt in response to everything that happens to you, your longings, your desires, your passions, your grief, your sadness, all of it. It's all you, it's all your life experience. And then we tap into our unlimited potential, since that's a fact. It sounds radical, but it's a fact. We have an unlimited potential for living, for creativity, for living and loving, for giving and receiving, okay? So that is the fullness, and this invitation to magnify, to shine. Breathe into it. Embrace everything that you are. Honor the fullness of you without judging any part of it. Smile into the heart and smile from the heart as you circulate the breath of life. Feel the magnification of your energy. Fill like a balloon with each breath. And then just soften a little with each out breath. So there is a pulsation, a filling with the in breath, a softening with the out breath. Filling with the in breath. Softening with the out breath. Last, filling with the in breath. And I collect it, bring it all home, draw it in, hands together at the heart, and draw it all into your heart. Yeah. Take a moment. Feel the fullness within you. Circulate and balance the flow of breath. As you take a last out breath, just internally feel a bowing into your own heart. And we'll come out of that. Relax your arms. They might need to relax. I kind of feel that actually. That's great, but it's strong. It is strong. So, as I did touch on pulsation, the word pulsation, I'd just like to dive into that and say, essentially, that's really what this whole approach to yoga is all about. Energetic practice, acknowledging our energetic nature, acknowledging and embracing and embodying our relationship to energy, our aliveness. Energy flows through us. I'm an instrument of the life force. And, like a musician would tune their instrument so that they could then play beautiful music, we as yogis are tuning the instrument, that is the body, and thereby opening the channels so that we're able to be a vehicle, an instrument for the flow of the life force. And when we're talking about pulsation, it's the possibility of prana, the life force, to be directed internally. So let's say for my life force and my focus of my mind to move in. That being more associated, for example, with winter. And here we are, it's summer. Or let me just take a step back and say that we then would like in winter, when we're exploring that introversion or that, inner charging of myself, recharging of myself, we would then like in winter time, for example, to have a way of practicing, to have the tools that would support us to practice in that way. That we've explored since the Revolve project is now into the 7th month. I did start it on the 1st of January with what was then called the early winter masterclass. So we explored a lot. Here we are, it's summer. That is the moment where, if we consider the whole year as a pulsation of energy, moving into winter, bouncing out of winter, an expansion of energy into spring and summer, and that transition into autumn, and then that moving into winter. Pulsation, right? So this energetic approach to yoga, which aligns very beautifully to the teachings of Ayurveda, recognizes pulsation on many levels, where the year is a pulsation of energy, but so is the day, right? Night, day. Each day we rise, we expand, we open. Each night we fold into ourselves and we close. So there are shorter and there are longer cycles. There are cycles within cycles, okay? The breath itself is considered a physical expression of pulsation. So summer has arrived. We are invited now to participate, to enjoy, to join the party. This is the maximum expansion, the maximum light, theoretically, hopefully, the maximum energy, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to turn up our volume. Why? Why? To shine. Why? Why to shine? Why not? Why not? I'm here to shine. You are here to shine in your way. As long as we're going to continue to convince ourselves that it is spiritual to be connected internally, to be humble, to be, quiet and introverted because, I'm on the spiritual path, I'm a yogi. We're basically only going to be exploring one aspect, a more yin quality. That yang quality, that expansion, that expressiveness, that radiance, that lightness, that empowerment is the flip side of the coin. Can we say that yin is more spiritual than yang? Of course not. And can we say that we are by nature more yin than we are yang? Well, if you're out of balance, you may be more yin than yang, or you may be more yang than yin, but you are invited to participate in practice in a way that is holistic and balanced, and therefore to embrace and embody your yang, your solar potency, right? So empowerment is a big part of the practice. As we move into summer, the practices become more challenging and an invitation to turn up your volume and to connect to your power. This is not a bad thing. This is a great thing. This is wonderful. May we connect to the power that flows through us, and may we then connect that power to our dharma. So, examine your dharma. That's where there is space for meditation. There's space for inner connection to, drop deep into your belly and deep into your heart and feel what it is that is your destiny, your mission, what feels real, what gives you a feeling that your life is meaningful, what you feel called upon to do, what feels righteous, what feels dignified. How are you going to live a meaningful life and help to create a better world? What do you feel called upon to do to develop yourself? And then what do you feel called upon to do to support other living beings or the planet? So, once we've connected to that and we're aligned to that, we understand, this is my mission. I feel called upon to do this. We need energy, and we need to feel empowered enough to be able to do it. So I mention all of this because I think that it helps us to justify and to feel okay about empowering ourselves. Yeah. We're not empowering ourselves in order to go on some ego trip. We're empowering ourselves in order to have the energy, the conviction, the dedication to turn the wheel of dharma and do what needs to be done so that we can feel that we are living a meaningful life. And to be an artist is a part of this. According to the way I teach, the way I practice, and the way I live, I feel that this is important to share. This is important to say. You are allowed to be creative. Design your life, You are a manifestation of the divine, and your life is an expression of the divine. And the divine is a creative being, right? This is the creative energy that has manifested the universe. I am the manifestation of that creative energy, and I am an embodiment of that creative energy. So let me create. All of this is in line with let's expand, let's shine. So moving from empowerment to connecting that power to the Dharma, and then moving that energy and expanding. the invitation to expand. The poses that I have chosen as the peak poses, the poses that we work towards in the early summer masterclass, are poses that invite us, in the first place to connect to our power and to move that energy, and then to collect that power and then to move that energy into what is perhaps my favorite pose for giving me the feeling that I am shining, that I am radiant, that I shine like the sun, right? So once we're able to move that energy and feel that expansion, and that's very important because, as I said earlier, this is energetic vinyasa. This is energetic practice. So we move from energy. We connect through breath to the prana that flows through our bodies, and then we actually move that energy of prana and give direction or invite prana to flow in the direction of the pose, or the pose itself is an invitation for energy to flow in a certain direction. So what direction are we talking about? Well, energy can flow in a certain specific alignment. Let's say a pose that has a specific alignment, and then the energy is like focusing that direction, or opening that direction, back bend. But when we're talking about pure radiant energy, shine like the sun, we're talking about an experience of energy expanding, radiating, shining in all directions. That is a 360-degree experience. The sun does not only shine forward, it shines backwards, it shines in all directions. So that's the 360-degree expansion of energy connected to the movement of prana, which we call vyana. Vyana, one of the 5 primary movements of prana through the body. This is the most ecstatic movement of prana. This is ecstatic, meaning, the word ecstatic, the root of that word is the word ecstasy, bliss, expand, open up completely, So looking for a pose that gives that feeling, I have chosen in the early summer masterclass to focus on Vasisthasana, or what I call Vasisthasana 2, which is that beautiful, expansive position. And then, if we're practicing energetically, not just physically, if we've cultivated energetic practice. Now, I'm just going to loop back here and mention, there may be people watching this, or people who will watch this, who know, of course, that during the spring series, I shared, I dedicated, I believe it was the middle of spring episode, middle of spring masterclass. I dedicated that masterclass to energetic breath work, which is the technique that I use to access the energy body and to feel and awaken the pranic flow. This is very important because one is looking for a tool, one's looking for a way, and it is through the breath in yoga practice and through very refined breath work that we're able to access the energy body and feel the energy flow through all the cells of our body. And then we have the technique to actually invite that energy to flow in specific directions, which gives us deeper energetic embodiment of the yoga poses and gives the yoga poses their vibrancy in a way that I feel you only see in a practitioner who has an understanding and an embodiment of the energetic practice. So very important to mention this. I don't want to put anyone off. I feel that I do my best in every class and in every masterclass that I've uploaded to give enough cueing and guiding of the breath and the energetic cueing to invite you or anyone who's following my practice to have the energetic experience or the energetic awakening. But yeah, certainly worth mentioning that the middle of spring masterclass was totally dedicated to the energetic breath work, which is, I would consider the foundation of energetic practice in the way that I'm sharing it. So let's talk about Vijnana. Vijnana, that movement of energy that is radiant. I shine like the sun. Okay, so to understand the movement that is Vijnana, let's just analyze this. A movement of energy, consider it like the wind. In fact, these movements of energy are called the Vayus, which translates as winds. They are like the inner winds, okay? So, if we talk about wind, we call it a southeaster, for example, because it's a wind that blows from the southeast. So the same applies to energy inside of our bodies. If we're talking about Vijnana and we say that it is a radiant, shining energy, according to the analysis of the energy body and the understanding of Vijnana, let's just examine this for a moment. Okay, so there's this expansive, radiant energy. Where does it start from? Right? Where does it expand from? There needs to be a bindu. There needs to be a point from which this energy expands. Where in the body is that point? Where am I expanding from? Very important to mention because, and this is just great news, this is just beautiful. And I think when I say this to you, if you did not know it, you will realize, hopefully, maybe, this makes sense. It makes sense to me. That expansive opening of myself is a movement of energy that moves from the heart. Right. So let's take a few steps back again. What are we exactly doing here? Early summer masterclass, connecting to this energy, this light, awakening it, accessing that empowerment, moving that energy, aligning it to our dharma, and actually using the techniques of inner practice to move that energy to the heart space. And from the heart space into that feeling of expansion. Right. So it's very beautiful because it is really an opening of our hearts. And that is just the most wonderful feeling. And, it is, in my understanding, the focus of yoga is the heart chakra. That, of course, depends on which school of yoga you've been exposed to, which teachings you've been exposed to. I know that many years ago I kept encountering different books and different teachings about the chakras and about the journey of the life force or the journey of Kundalini. And it seemed to me at that time as though the obsession was with moving energy through the chakras, ultimately to the crown chakra, and from there beyond into this kind of universal connection. That seems to me what the yoga was all about. But I have since then encountered other teachings and my own teachers who inspire me have a different approach. And that approach being, firstly, to give equal amount of value to each and every chakra. That is the definition of holistic embodiment. I want to feel the awakening of every chakra because every chakra is an energetic emotional center which is a teacher. And what I can learn from the root chakra is a teaching. Guess what it's going to be about? Rooting. Wow. It speaks for itself. What I can learn from the heart chakra, well, so much. But the heart chakra being very important because, yes, beautiful to awaken all of the chakras, all of your energetic, emotional centers, beautiful to harmonize and balance the energy flow through all of these centers. But let's just take into consideration the position of the heart chakra, since we talk about the chakras as there being 7 chakras, the root chakra, the pelvic chakra, the belly chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the forehead, let's say, or the middle of your head actually, in between these fingers, and the crown chakra, that opening. Beautiful. So if we can connect and move energy through all of these centers. But the journey of bringing energy into the heart center, well, the heart center is considered the richest for many, many reasons. One reason being because it's in the center. So it has the wisdom of the upper triangle, the higher chakras, can be brought into the heart center, and then the intelligence of the lower chakras, the lower triangle, can be brought up to the heart center. So this is really, as it's described, the Shiva and Shakti meeting each other. This is the divine union of the different wisdom of the higher and lower centers. And another thing about the heart chakra, according to our yogic philosophy, which is, these are spiritual teachings, whether you like it or not. I mean, you can go to some yoga studio where they don't focus on the spiritual aspect of yoga, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. That just means that they don't focus on it. This is a spiritual path, and it is taught in our tradition of yoga that the self, people use different words. Someone else might use the word soul. Cool, whatever. That the seat of the self is here at the heart center, in the hridaya, right? This is the seat of the self. This is the seat of the conscious, energetic self, or the soul. So really, coming into the heart center is just coming home. And as we're talking about radiance, expansion, as we're talking about shining, then very beautiful is to bring this discussion to this subject being the self. What do we know of the self? Well, very beautiful word in the Mula mantra that is taught through Yogi Bhajan's tradition. Ek onkar satanam kartapurk nirbo nirver akala murat ajune saibang gur prasad. That word saibang is a word that suggests that the self, the soul, is self-illuminated. The sun does not need to shine on the self in order to illuminate it, where, in our world that we're living in, when the sun goes down, it gets dark, and then you need a light, right? You need a light to shine the light on something so that it can be seen. The suggestion here is that the self don't need no light shining on it, because it has and is light, and it is self-illuminating and radiates light. In fact, that light is experienced inside of the body and even around the body. And depending on what you believe and how far you go with all of this esoteric stuff, but I'm sure you've heard of auras, aura, I don't know how you want to say the word. I'm South African, so actually I grew up hearing about it as being called the aura, but I have heard here in Europe people using the word aura. So whichever version the idea that this is visible, in fact it is photographable using a technique called Kirlian photography. They have photographed the aura. There's light around the body, and the light, the colors and the shape of the aura is shifting and changing. And so really tracing back all this energy and this vibrancy to its essence, to the source. There you go, the self. And so an expansion of your own light, inviting you to bring your energy and your prana and your breath to the heart center, and to magnify your love and to radiate your light and to shine. Welcome to the early summer online masterclass, part of the Revolve cycle of 12 online masterclasses to evolve your yoga practice and take it to the next level. I hope you're enjoying, and if you have not participated in any of these online masterclasses yet, I hope you will consider joining. I welcome you, and I look forward to hearing from you. I'm going to shut down this transmission. I'm not able to type on my keypad and talk at the same time. So once I finish talking, I'm going to then be able to answer any questions. So I'll take a look in the comments area. Please share your experiences if you have enjoyed the masterclass, or if you have, let's say, not enjoyed it, maybe you hated it, that's okay. Share your experience. Let's open up the discussion. And of course, I'm here to answer any questions. So enjoy your journey, and I look forward to the next one already. The middle of summer masterclass. What are we going to do then? Well, you know, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but stay tuned. All the masterclasses that I have shared since the very beginning, since the 1st of January, the whole winter series, the spring series, it's all still there. It's all available. Take a look, if you haven't already, at the information on yogasimon.com, and stay tuned. Enjoy to the max. Bless you. Namaste.